marketing yourself and what a challenge that side of the business can be. But if you was going to describe your sound to someone who hadn't heard it yet, what would you say?
I would say it's emotionally, sonically charged, melodic, hard hitting, but quite just experimental. A wide range. It's hard to describe my sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely eclectic.
Eclectic. I like that, yeah.
Do you want to hear how the closest people to you describe your sound?
Yeah, go on, let's say this.
Energetic, passionate, and innovative.
Talented, calculated, creative.
Brother, attentive, understanding.
Loving, passionate, and dedicated.
Persistent, optimistic, and he's open-minded.
What do you think about that? I think, did you say any of those words? I don't think you did.
I don't know. Did anyone say emotion? I heard passionate. Yeah, like all those words that I heard. Like, yeah, it feels right. There's so many. You know, it's hard to just pinpoint and say it is just this. It's like there's so many things, and I agree with everyone there. But it's really nice to hear people say it back to you. So it's not just you imagining this. Do you know what I mean?
It's actually, that's how people connect.
Yeah.
Just shout out Chinyel because she did explain why she said the word calculated and was basically saying, not in a negative way, but just how much you think through everything.
Yeah.
Nothing is done on a whim. It's all very planned out.
Yeah.
So you're in the industry, you're SlickdotR, you're now recording with a bit more of a purpose, not just for fun. What would you say was the first move you made as far as right, let's take this step? Because I remember getting emails from you in 2013 with Bad MC Part 2, Nakamuka, did I say that right?
Yeah.
It was so long ago.
Nakamuka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say was your first steps, other than the open mics, but actually trying to get recognition from the industry?
I think a major step was my first music video. I think I hired a camera from uni or something.
I love that.
And shot it. Literally, yeah. That was a cover of Harden and Paint by Waka Flocka.
Okay, I haven't seen this then.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Wow. I'm gonna have to show you a clip of it.
Have to, yeah.
That was the first step in terms of okay, cool. I need to present myself to the world and put on YouTube and start putting stuff on my channel.
Yeah.
And then the next step after that was deciding to finally start using my own production, and that kind of went into what SR1 kind of became. Yeah.
Because you wasn't just finding beats anymore, you was actually wanting to create your own sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we know this industry can be cutthroat. How did those early days feel? Brand new artist trying to just make some noise.
Yeah, it felt... I was just super optimistic.
Do you think, looking back on it, a bit delusional?
Yeah.
Because I definitely was.
Definitely not clear on how things kind of work.
Yeah.
And I still think I'm like that now. It's there's always, whatever stage you get to, there's always stuff you don't know about that you're going to eventually get to know. So it's always a journey.
Yeah.
But I was, I had no clue about how certain things were done. But I'm just going in the direction that I'm kind of gravitating towards it. It just feels right to keep going, at every stage of my, since I've decided to, take it seriously, every stage I've just gone with the flow and just gone with what feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone always says that your network's your net worth. What were your network like around that time? Were they supportive about your choices? I know you said your family was, but even your friends, I feel like my friends were you're what? You're traveling across London to go host this event and they're not paying you. You want me to come with you? And like, there's no VIP area. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, I got a lot of that when I first started. How did the people around you react to you taking this more seriously?
Like, yeah, I like definitely had, you know, been a lot of support from friends and family. Always, you know, had, you know, people come through, like for when I went to open mics and helped me with filming and music videos. And I did a lot of music video covers, and I've always had, you know, good friends around me to help me with that and support me, buy
your
tickets.
network quite creative anyways.
Yeah, like, and now it's like even more creative, you know, like as time goes on, I meet more and more people who are, you know, have similar kind of goals or want to be successful in their creative field. So as time goes on, my network with creative minds continues to grow. But like from the early days, like, like I've had so many people around me who've always shown love and support where they can, you know. So it's definitely a journey that, I appreciate.
So pre-SR1, you haven't put out a full body of work yet, but you've got stuff like What Do They Know? Kiss It Better, Ghetto Coyote, Money Trees, like those sounds, they were you could see the grime influence so strong. How was it feeling at that time when obviously grime was one of the first big influences on you, and now you was recreating your own versions of it?
Yeah, like how did it feel? It felt this is where, like, you know, starting to produce my own stuff, like, really made me more excited about what's kind of possible. So like Ghetto Coyote was, I feel like,
inspired by one of your favourite artists.
Kano, Ghetto Coyote, the beat produced by Treble Clef. He's actually even heard it, like, and, you know, he was rating it. And it was even mixed and mastered at that time. It was mixed and mastered by Mikey J, who's, you know, Kano's one of Kano's oldest producers that he's worked with. So it was, you know, that was literally the first beat that I put out that I've produced, but the last beat technically that I covered.
Right.
So it was a nice homage to, you know, I'm done with like just doing covers. But it was a homage to grime and what influenced me. But it was a step into producing everything that I'm working on moving forward. So it was a really cool, that was a cool defining kind of moment.
Yeah, pivotal turning point,
Yeah. And like performing that, it always went down. Like really, I still like the beat. Now I haven't heard it for a while though, but.
Oh, I listened to it recently, obviously prepping for this, and I was like, this still hits.
Oh, geez.
Like, that was what, 6 years ago? And it still hits today. So I feel like that's always like a credit to the talent when you can listen to their old catalogue and it still feels like relevant and fresh. And
That's good to hear.
And then at this point, we're now around 2015, you was actually already creating SR1, hadn't been released yet. At that point of thinking I'm about to put out my first proper body of work, how did that feel like? What was the dream scenario of dropping SR1, or what was success in your head of releasing SR1 as your first project?
You know what? The success of releasing SR1, it wasn't an external expectation. It was more about me proving to myself that I can do it.
Do a whole project.
I can produce a project, not use other beats, produce projects, have melodies, you know, have a complete body of work. And this is the point where, you know, before that, I wasn't able to upload onto online distributors or anything because it was all covers. So it wasn't, I started realizing if I want to put music out, I have to have the right to put it out, you know? So it was more...
That's a process, isn't it? Like getting it out onto the distributors isn't easy.
No, literally.
I've heard.
So like, it's just, it was a process. It was something that I had to do for myself. And so I think that answers it, doesn't it? Wow,
so let's talk about your life around the creation of SR1. It was 2015, 2016, 3 years post-uni. What's happening in your life? alongside creating this project?
So this is a period of my life where, you know, it's entering the real world.
Was you full-time working by then?
Yeah, the first year after uni, I was like, you know, doing freelancing, filming here and there, doing graphic design, all of that sort of stuff. Then, you know, I realized that, okay, I'm not making the money I need to, so I had to, you know, find a full-time job.
Yeah.
So it's a period where I'm just discovering myself as a young adult. I'm starting to learn that I have to balance. If I want to keep doing music, I need to have some sort of an income to support it.
It's hard, isn't it, that moment?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do anything else.
I just wanted to, you know, just go straight into full-time music, but that's not a reality. It's not a reality for, you know, people like me who, you know, we haven't got parents who have, if, you know, if parents were super rich or like just even not even super rich, like just, you know,
They can put you in a studio every week.
Or like even go to like Brit school, like, you know, these things where you can be given opportunities or be put into a certain space where more things are likely to kind of happen. It wasn't like that. So we had to just go and work and balance things, you know.
So we know you was having to hustle, you was having to work and do this as a side passion. We weren't handed our opportunities as easily. Were you dating at the time?
Yeah, I was. It's someone I met at uni. We were together from like end of like the first year into second year. So that was a time where, we were both entering the world of real work. Yeah. She's a singer as well. So, and then her along with like, just like good friends around me, we were all like, you know, being artists and just going out open mics. And so it was an interesting time of just like, you know, in real world hustle and bustle, but still trying to pursue, you know, the dream,
Because I feel like my interpretation of SR1, there's quite a lot of dark tones and underlying messages. And to me, the overall feel of the project felt like you wasn't getting the support that you needed, despite in talking to you now, it sounds like your mum was on board, your sister was on board, you had creatives around you. What would you say was those feelings around that time?
The feelings were...
That 2015 to 2016.
Yeah, it's a time where it's like, I think it's when I started putting pressure on myself not making it already. Well. Yeah, literally. Like as an artist who witnessed people like Chip from such a young age blow up,
right? And
then seeing that, you know, and around that time, that Tiny Temple was massive. It's like, and I'm thinking, damn, I need to be. I'm already in my 20s, and I haven't made it.
That break yet. Yeah.
And it's a time where reality kind of hits you.
Yeah.
So like that, you know, and that kind of puts you can put you in a dark space, because it's like just stuff isn't happening how you wished it would, kind of thing, you know. So that just real life. When real life hits, sometimes it hits and it gets dark, you know.
Yeah.
But it's about So like that's why there's a lot of tones of just emotions, tapping into that. It's a time where I also like was really getting into like Kid Cudi was inspiring me then.
Kid Cudi,
yeah, like
a throwback.
Yeah, like he's from there. Like he you know, kind of showed me that you can tap into your emotions and use, and even if you're not the best singer, it's still, you know, about. I started like being inspired to like sing more, and just pursue that, and you know, and just tapping into my feelings a bit more. So
definitely, I think especially as a rapper, I mean, I'm not trying to box you in, but generally in rap music, you don't want to give away, you don't want to be too vulnerable. Whereas I feel like SR1 was a very vulnerable project. Let's talk about the tracks list, track by track a little bit. So you've got What Do They Know, which was released pre-SR1. Hold Me Down, Say It To My Face, Interlude, and pressure. What do they know? It's such a playful flow. Like, I actually really love that. It really showcases your range. And I feel like there's some old school influence, like even how you spell out certain words within the lyrics. Like, I feel like that's quite like, reminds me of the like 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do they know? It's definitely heavy grime influence in how I approached it. I originally sampled, it was a Jhené, I never know if I've pronounced her name properly. Jhené Aiko.
Yeah.
I sampled her for the original beat, but then I had to just like redo it so I can actually distribute it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a full-on grime energy, and it's a bit of like, it's a dark feeling as well, like the world are kind of against me kind of energy. It's like, what do they know? They don't know. Oh, and I even wrote in one of the lyrics, it's about being interviewed. I said something about being interviewed and they're judging me, and it was that sort of energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Have you felt that before in interviews where you go in and like they blindside? I mean, you might be feeling like that right now, but like they blindside you, or they just bring up something that's a bit like, "Oh, you did listen to my music."
Like no, like not since then. No, not since then. Like
good.
this is, yeah, it was a crazy time. It's like weird to like listen back to
I'm
like
taking
you taking me
me.
there. It's this is your life. But yeah, like and then things like, you know, going through that track list, Pressure, I think was.
Wait, you skipped a bit.
Oh, are we going through all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I feel like, and this is just my interpretation, music's subjective.
Yeah.
It was a split feeling between, yes, I'm a superstar, to will I ever become the superstar I want to be? What do you think?
Hold Me Down this was where I was tapping into surrealism in a way. Like, there's a lot of influences from real life, but also influences of what, you know, I was imagining could be happening, or you know,
so almost like, not words of affirmation, but you know, you're putting it out into laws of attraction. Like, you're putting out there what you want.
Yeah, like and yeah, that's a very like heavy, like hip hoppy, melodic, wavy, kind of vibes that I was trying to put into that. I even shot a video. Did I shoot a video for that as well? I shot a video for that, but didn't come out. Yeah. But yeah, man, Hold Me Down. Nice. That's cool.
And then we got Say It To My Face. And for me, this is the first time I feel like you really pushed your boundaries with the singing, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
And also it felt like from the lyrics, there was people around you who you didn't feel like you could trust 100%. I mean, the title, Say It To My Face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one.
That was quite a deep track for me.
Yeah, this is a crazy one. This was my ex.
I picked up on that, but I wanted to see if you wanted to
and it's funny because she's on it as well. Like the vocals, she's singing the same vocals as me. So it's weird, but like, I don't know. Like I guess sometimes when I write, I pull in, you know, things that are happening now, but also things from the past, and not everything is like as just clear cut. I'm just, do you know what I mean? So it's not just about her. Yeah. But like, in hindsight, I can tell that, you know, some subconscious approach. Some of the ways I approached it were influenced by things going on there at that time. So yeah, it's just it was definitely a more emotional.
2015, 2016. Like, I feel like SR1 of all the projects to date is the most kind of like painful and just like gritty and just like really like you said, the emotions were real. Yeah.
It's mad. It's mad. Yeah, just trying to take myself back there. Yeah. But yeah, it was a time where I was definitely, you know, singing more. And it wasn't what was expected of me. Like when I've, you know, sent this project out to like DJs and stuff, who have previously played my stuff, they were like, "Oh, This is different." Yeah. And yeah, not everyone was able to kind of, you know, like understand it or follow it or get it kind of thing. So yeah, man. But I did like performing that song because it was like just my first step into singing a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And you put an interlude in there, which interludes are so interesting. Some people are like, yes, I have to have this on my brand. And some people are like, what is the point?
Yeah.
What made you add an interlude?
This was, I think my first of all, I need to say, I think my first real impact on and influence on like musicality in projects, you know, stem from a lot of Kanye projects. And I think it's the interlude before All of the Lights.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun. Like, I think I was influenced by stuff like that I wanted to create something that builds up to Pressure, you know? And with the help of Mike, who's mentioned something, and Ryan, like, we were able to put that together. So Mike played the keys, Ryan played the guitar, and I think I was just vocaling it, but like rough vocals on top of it.
Yeah.
Just setting the tone for the last song, yeah.
So how do you feel, it's interesting you talk about that because I've had this chat with my brother before. How do you feel about people who listen to projects on shuffle? Does that grit your gears? Like, is that the worst thing in the world?
Oh, yeah. Like, you know, like we're in a time now where like things are, you know, they're the way they are. But me personally, I don't. I listen to albums.
Track from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Story. It's not just a bunch of singles.
Exactly.
That'd
like
be a mixtape. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a reason why an artist, you know, when an artist puts an album out, there's a reason why it's ordered in a certain way. So I like listening to complete albums. That's how I rate artists. Like it's not. Not that it's easy to make a single, but like I think the best artists in the world are able to create good bodies of work, and those are the ones that kind of tend to stand the test of time, you know. So,
do you think it's equally as bad, like shuffling a project, as like skipping to the middle of a movie? Basically, is that the level?
Yeah, like why would you skip that? Like understand it, you know.
I'm gonna confess. I used to shuffle through all my projects, and then I had this chat with my brother, and he was like, "Are you in?" I think it was I can't remember which Kendrick album it was that dropped, and he was like, "What do you mean you listen to it on shuffle?"
Was it Good Kid, Mad City, or was it?
No, it was later down the line. I'm beating myself up now.
Was it to Pimp a Butterfly?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, my days.
And he was disgusted. And I mean, at the time I was working in entertainment radio, so it was all about singles.
Yeah.
But I have now very consciously, I listen to projects chronologically. Which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So talking of chronological, Pressure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the moment, so I always believed in you as a talent, especially from when you first emailed me, like pre-SR1.
Yeah.
The day I seen you perform Pressure at Hootenanny Brixton, that is when I said, SlickdotR is a star. Like, the way the audience responded, the way you took over the stage, like, for me, I remember, and I was a bit waved, and I remember turning to my partner at the time and being like, I told you about this guy, I told you. Like, it was like O2 Arena's standard moment for me. Like I was mesmerized. And the storytelling in that song, like it's beautiful. So obviously I'm glad now to hear there was so much, like you purposely put that song last because of how powerful that song is. But yeah, how did you feel recording that? It's a deep one as well.
Yeah. Like I wanted to just create something that was big sounding, you know, but like some sort of an anthem, you know, and just, I think those are the main two words. I wanted it to be powerful, but still like tap into, you know, what I was, you know, challenge, like, what I was facing, you know, the challenges I was dealing with and kind of express that. So, I don't know. I'm just, sometimes I'm glad that things just pan out how they're supposed to. Like, I know where it you know, the end of the outcome of the project. I mean, the outcome of that song. I'm happy with how it kind of panned out. But when I started that song, the intention wasn't to have that outcome. It was more about just going through it. And I can clearly remember how I was writing that one. That's actually probably the first song where I'm more just in the moment and mumbling melodies and flows
Which
out
is
loud.
closer to your
which is
process now.
yeah.
Right.
So that is funny, like thinking about it now, because that's probably the start of where I was making more vibey, more just thinking about the performing it and translating that emotion into the sound, So yeah, man, that was that's a special song, and I'll actually
Still, it's
perform
one of
that
my
now.
go-tos. Yeah,
I would
that's still
perform
one
that.
of my main go-tos of your catalogue. Like,
Yeah.
love it.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah.
Like I would perform that again. And the music video we shot for that was really.
Yeah.
It was just different, like just shooting it out in nature and like wide shots in the sky, and got the drone, and it was.
And that's
a
when
good time.
drones were just getting cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like, I got a drone shot in there.
Yeah.
So obviously we've talked about the sound being so different to pre-SR1, which I feel is a recurring theme with you. Each project, the sound really develops. But the early influence was still really obvious and strong in SR1. And someone who wasn't around when SR1 was out actually had something really positive to say about it.
Oh, wow.
Upon listening to it, I was able to kind of recognise, oh, wow, this guy does have talent. And it really felt like it laid the foundations as to kind of who he was, and paid homage to the musical genres and influences that he's had growing up. So I think that was really present on SR1.
Isn't that nice to hear that even though they wasn't around, they still could get the message you was given just from listening and not even knowing your backstory?
Yeah, that's powerful. That's like real nice to know, like how it's kind of received.
Yeah.
And around that time where I met my fiance now. That was a time where this project was out. And I was excited about getting onto the next project.
Yeah.
So it's like at that time, what all that was available to stream at that point was SR1. So it's cool, to hear that and to understand that, what she took from that. Yeah.
Also around that time, as you previously mentioned, I started to manage you, support you, try and develop you. How did that feel? You'd been this one-man band. I mean, you had your creators around you, but someone actually coming in and being like, I'm going to take the reins. I'm going to give up my free time. I believe in you enough to like do everything I can to push you as an artist and a brand.
Like that felt amazing. Like just like you're saying, someone was willing to give up, a portion of their time, to kind of help you, and like it just showed that someone believes in me, kind of vibe, and
it wasn't just me; it's that there was a whole team of us who, like, that process of me thinking. At the time, I'd been working in radio for like 3-4 years. There was loads of artists who were like, "Can you manage me?" And I had to be very selective about who I wanted to like invest my time and energy into. And the entire team of like videographers and fashion and everything was like, SlickdotR, we've got to get behind it. Wow. So, it was. I feel like that was such a great moment for you.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it just showed to me that you can. This is real, kind of thing. Like. Yeah. It's not, I think I mentioned it already, but it's like, it's not just in your head. It's not just you imagining this. It's like, this is actually something that is affecting people, and people believe in what you're doing. So that was a real pivotal kind of moment.
Especially, I think, on an official capacity, because it's great to have like your team, who are your friends and family, believing in you.
Yeah.
But some of the creators I brought in were already in the industry working. Yeah. And so they come across talent every day. And I'm glad that they were so on board with you. Man. I still are.
Yeah. And even to this day now, like you introduced me to Sneaks. Yeah. Who to this day like
a DJ, official DJ.
Yeah. Like, which is amazing. And when we're doing shoots and stuff. It's dope. It's amazing, man. And obviously, I'm Neiman from Overcame.
Yes. Which is weird because you'd already connected, but it was me being like, you need to do stuff with SlickdotR that made him like readdress it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And obviously, you're someone who continues to challenge yourself and work on your craft. And I'm actually not the only one who thinks so.
I would say it's definitely matured the production quality has gone up crazy amounts. That's like speaks for itself. Even just the arrangement and concepts, I feel like has just grown with him. So it's gone from just sort of like making music to sort of like creating more than music, creating a vibe, creating a mood. You can tell there's been a lot of study that's gone into things. So I'd definitely say the music has matured and just grown. And I think I'd say it's grown with him.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. And was he talking about SR1 to SR2?
Yeah. Like how you developed your sounds.
Yeah, like that feels right, man. Like just every step, every time, you know, I decide to step into the next project or the next thing I'm working on, I always want to improve on what I've done. So I'm grateful that like it's recognized, you know. Yeah.
Because even in your performance, like I remember when you introduced, I mean, I don't know the technical terms, but there was like a little machine you introduced into your live performances. What's it called?
It's called vocal harmonizer.
Right.
I forgot the actual brand name, but I just picked up at a music store. They just had one sitting in the store, and then I was like, yo, let me grab it. And yeah, it really has like kind of pushed just my live performance to another kind of level. And yeah,
I feel like it plays into what Neiman said earlier about even back in uni before he was like SlickdotR officially, he was always a bit ahead technology wise. So you're always thinking about what can I do next? How can I improve? Whether it's my vocals, I've heard you've done singing lessons before.
Oh yeah.
I've heard you've done piano lessons before. And then even technically, as technology develops, you're looking into like, what can I do to just make yourself more unique and more memorable and stand out in that moment when you're in front of an audience.
Yeah, I feel that, man.